centuries, Rome's borders held. The Rhine, the Danube, the great rivers of Europe, separating the civilized world from the tribes beyond. Roman legions patrolled every mile. Every crossing was watched. Every threat was met with overwhelming force. The barbarians had tried before. Rome had always pushed them back. But this time was different. The tribes beyond Rome's borders weren't just raiders looking for gold. They were entire peoples on the move. The Goths, the Vandals, the Alemanni. Families, children, whole civilizations displaced. And they weren't moving because they wanted to. Something far more terrifying was pushing them from behind. The Huns, a ferocious nomadic people from the Eurasian steppe who arrived in Europe around 370 AD, like a force of nature. They lived on horseback, conquered everything in their path, and answered to no border and no empire. The Gothic tribes who had lived peacefully beyond Rome's borders for generations suddenly had nowhere left to go. So they turned to Rome. Hundreds of thousands massing at the Danube River, begging to be led inside the empire. And Rome let them in. Not out of kindness, out of desperation. Rome needed soldiers. The plan was to absorb the Goths, arm them, and use them to defend the very borders they had just crossed. It was a reasonable plan. It was also a catastrophic mistake. They rose up against the empire that had promised them safety. In 378 AD, at the Battle of Adrianople, the Emperor Valens himself was killed on the battlefield. It was the worst military defeat Rome had suffered in centuries. Rome was no longer invincible, and everyone knew it. More tribes poured through the broken borders. The Vandals crossed the frozen Rhine on New Year's Eve, 406 AD. An entire people walking across the ice into Roman territory while the legions watched helplessly. Provinces that had been Roman for 400 years fell one by one. Tax revenue gone. Soldiers gone. The empire was visibly shrinking, and there was nothing Rome could do to stop it. Rome had survived plagues, civil wars, and financial collapse. But it had never faced an enemy it had invited through its own front door. The West was crumbling, but in the East, a different Rome was rising, stronger, richer, and determined to survive.